We're back for our daily NBA best bets here on Friday, November 21st. Today's Cup Day. Woo! You know, everyone's favorite day of the week. We got our NBA Cup games going on. I guess we're going to kind of keep track of who's in first place and whatnot in each NBA Cup division as we are approaching the end of the NBA Cup. Actually, no, I think tonight we're halfway through the NBA Cup. So it's like 3 or 4 more weeks left to go in this thing. Regardless, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets, or NBA best bets here on the channel. Our college basketball best bets were posted earlier today, so go make sure to check that out. That'll be linked in the description down below. Also on the channel, we did post our college football predictions. College football best bets will be out later today at noon, so you're not going to want to miss that. And our NFL predictions were posted earlier in the week. Again, best bets and best player props for those will be out on Saturday. And, of course, on Greedo Plays MMA, our UFC Fight Night Qatar full card predictions and best bets with Arman Sarukian taking on Dan Hooker in the main event. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for the NBA, kicking things off with a player prop, and we're going to go to a matchup between the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Somehow it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know. Well, I guess at the beginning of the year they didn't know how bad the Pacers were going to be, but Prime's got this one. Pacers, Cavaliers in Ohio. I'm going with Andrew Nembhard tonight. Andrew Nembhard has been killing it as of late. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the Indiana Pacers, and I do believe that continues here again. The line for Nembhard today is 15.5 points. He should be able to get 16 fairly easily if I do say so myself. Look at Nembhard's last couple of games. He's been averaging 19 this month since his injury, which is absolutely massive. He's been averaging 30-plus minutes a game, and Nembhard has gotten this line, or hit 16 points, in every game in November except for 2. He's played 8. So this is hitting at quite a good rate so far. Cleveland is not the best defensive unit. Their best defense is by scoring or by taking so many three-pointers and hitting so many three-pointers, their opponents can't keep up with them. So I think this line's absolutely great for Nembhard. Again, you saw what he did his last game, only 16 points, but still, again, that will hit, and Nembhard didn't have a particularly great shooting night. Andrew Nembhard's going to take about 15 shots a game, and about a third of those are going to be three-pointers. So at his best, obviously, Nembhard can have a night like he did in that weird shootout game, or really just every shootout game the Utah Jazz have. But back earlier in the month, Nembhard had scored the first 9 points for Indiana, ended up scoring 25 in total in that game, and shot 15 shots, hit 9 of them, and goes 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Again, this should come fairly easy for Nembhard tonight. I know, again, he might have some difficult defensive matchups today for Cleveland. Again, they don't start Lonzo Ball, the Darius Garland injury. They're basically starting Donovan Mitchell at the 1, which is fine. Again, you will see some rotations in some spots and some lineups, obviously, where a good defender, Lonzo Ball, will be matched up against Andrew Nembhard, who, by the way, again, no, this doesn't matter for this, but a very good defender in his own right. I think Nembhard should be okay. Again, the Cavs, for the most part, get into high-scoring games, and you really just look at this Indiana team, and it's unfortunate what's happened to the Pacers this season, and I get it. I know what they're doing now. I know they just won their last game in all fairness against the Charlotte Hornets, but the Pacers are in a pretty clear path of, okay, we don't want to win really anymore. We want to have a top 3 pick, really top 2 pick that you want. No disrespect against Boozer, but I don't really think Boozer's the guy the Pacers particularly want. DeBonsta or Peterson are the 2 players the Pacers. If you can add that to Siakam and Halliburton, okay, now you're really talking. Now you're really talking. So, again, that's just in the future. But obviously, the Pacers, it's not a priority to win right now, but obviously, the guys in the court, someone needs to score, okay? And it can't all be Pascal Siakam, and Nembhard has been pretty clearly the number 2 this season for this team. We talked about it at the beginning of the year, right? We said that Nembhard was going to have to, show up this season because of no Halliburton, and obviously early in the season there was no TJ McConnell, but, they needed Nembhard to be absolutely big for this team, and he has been pretty good so far. Again, he got injured in game 1 of the season in that overtime loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that, again, has just been really the story of the year for the Indiana Pacers. Has been an injury upon injury upon injury. I think Nembhard's going to find his points, though, tonight. So, again, in terms of the Pacers, still very injured squad. No Aaron Nesmith still. He's out for a couple more weeks. Cam Jones still has not made his debut. Obviously, the rookie out of Marquette. And then Obi Toppin's out for a while, and obviously Tyrese Halliburton is still out, too. Nembhard, it's been full go. It's been 30-plus minutes a night. It's been, take your shots when you can get them. Obviously, and Nembhard is the primary ball handler, and it's always been a little difficult for Nembhard to put up great offensive numbers because what he does on the defensive side of the ball. If you remember last year, Nembhard got the SGA assignment in the NBA Finals. He had to guard Donovan Mitchell, which he will be doing again tonight. He had to guard Jalen Brunson in the Eastern Conference Finals because he's by far the best on-ball defender the Indiana Pacers have, and a team that, with a team that doesn't play the best all-around defense. Regardless, though, Nembhard still finds ways to attack. He still finds ways to score. And I think we're going to be fine tonight. Again, in a high-paced game like this should be, like how we saw in all of the playoff games last year, all of the semifinal games against the Indiana Pacers, or with the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were all high-scoring and high output. This should be the exact same way. Again, also, by the way, first matchup that we've seen between the Pacers and Cavs since the Eastern Conference semifinals last season. My goodness. Ooh, was that, I don't want to use the word peak, but I will. That was peak, man. When we went into that series taking Indiana to win the series at plus 400, and they won in 5 games. Oh my goodness, this is the first time the Pacers have come back to Cleveland since they put it on ice in game number 5 when Halliburton scored 31 in the victory, man. If Halliburton just didn't get injured, they'd win the East this year. The East is so weak. Whatever. Give me Andrew Nembhard over 15.5 points at minus 125 as we move on now to our second best bet of the video, and we go to a money line pick. Let's go to the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. It worked for us the other night up in Portland, Oregon. Let's do it again. Give me the Chicago Bulls to beat the Miami Heat at minus 140. I think the Bulls are back. Now, okay. The other day's game on, Wednesday night against the Portland Trail Blazers, a little too close for my liking considering how the Bulls started off. Well, they didn't start off that hot, but how they played in the third quarter and, were up by 15 points at points in the fourth. You were thinking, okay, this is going to be easy. There were points where, Giddey wasn't even going to need to come back on the court, and the Bulls were going to be fine and win until Portland goes on a 25-6 run, was it? 28-8 run? Something absurd. Portland gets back in the game. Adjeva hits a 3. Klingon has an and 1. And it looks like everything's, it's going south for Chicago. They find a way, though, it was Kobe White made a layup, cutting the lead to 1. They foul Jeremy Grant. He goes 1 for 2 on his free throws, and Chicago goes for the win. Kobe White drives. Kobe White kicks. Very similar to the Josh Giddey play earlier in the season at home for the Bulls when they beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Instead of Giddey, this time it was White. White drives, because, White drives, attacks, kicks out, finds Vucevic wide open, and Nikola Vucevic game-winning shot for the Chicago Bulls. Don't get me wrong. Vucevic was getting bitched by Klingon all game long. And yes, Vucevic is the leading scorer for Chicago. He puts up, how many points? 27 points on 11 for 19 shooting and 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. If he didn't hit that shot, I was going to come on and say they need to trade Vucevic immediately. It's a very up and down thing with Vucevic, man. I mean, it's a roller coaster at times with Vuce. Because some nights he's great, and he'll do things like he did to hit the game winner against Portland. But for the most part, defensively, he's a traffic cone. He can't grab rebounds at all. I mean, guys, Klingon had 10 offensive boards. And that Portland comeback doesn't happen if it's not for the second chance points that Klingon gets them. And we talk about that all the time with Portland. That's their game. They'll chuck up shots. Their three-point percentage is not great, but they get rebounds. And they just cause chaos, and that's how Portland plays good basketball. And obviously, referees love the Portland Trail Blazers. Free throw discrepancy in this game, by the way, 32-14 for the Blazers. The NBA loves the Portland Trail Blazers for some reason. I don't know why. The Blazers are not a good team, not a big market. Oh, Dame's back. Ooh. I don't know. The NBA, they have something for the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't know what it is. Regardless, though, Chicago finds a way to win. The thing with Vucevic is, again, I don't love him defensively at all, and I think the rebounding is just, oh my goodness, it's horrible. Now, they're playing the Heat tonight. Miami is without Andrew Wiggins. Tyler Hero's coming back soon, but not tonight. Hero is going to be back on Monday, probably, against the Dallas Mavericks. And Jovic is out as well tonight. So you take away Wiggins, obviously still no Hero. Norman Powell's put up the most points for any player in NBA history in their first 8 games on a new team, which I find very crazy, but it's true. Is it 8 games or is it 10 games or is it 12? I don't know. Regardless. No, I think it's 15 because they've played 15 games. Duh. Regardless, Norman Powell's playing great basketball. He's averaging 25.5 points per game. Makes you wonder, by the way, why did the Clippers not bring him back? Just a thought. He's only 32. Why would you not have why would you not want Norman Powell? Oh, because we brought in Bradley Beal. Really? I mean, is that not crazy? Is that not absurd that they said, you know what? We don't need Norman Powell anymore. We have Bradley Beal on our team. Like that is a real thing the Los Angeles Clippers did in the offseason. You know what? They deserve everything that's coming to them. They deserve the, first pick, woo, only for it just to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. An unserious franchise are the Los Angeles Clippers. Regardless of all that, Norman Powell has been playing phenomenal basketball this season for the Miami Heat. He's been great. I just don't think that's going to be enough. I know Miami's kind of getting national media attention now with that stat of, Powell having the most points ever on a new team. And, Stephen A. Smith's talking about him because, everybody watches First Take, by the way. If you know, everyone watches First Take. How dare Drake May come out Cam Newton after Cam Newton talked crap about the Patriots? How dare he? Because everyone turns on their TV in the morning at 7 o'clock to watch First Take. Whatever, that's just stupid. Anyways, I'm taking the Bulls. I do like Chicago. They're at home again. They found a way to salvage the road trip. They started 0-2, losing to Detroit, losing in Utah, and a really bad loss to the Jazz. But then they went out and beat the Nuggets, and they went out and beat the Blazers in a game where Josh Giddey scored 9 points. Now, Giddey still had 13 assists, and obviously, again, you can tell by watching a Bulls game, Giddey's by far the most valuable guy that they have. He does literally everything. He's putting up all-star type numbers this season, but the re-addition of Kobe White is so huge, man. White and Giddey are just balling for this team. They're still playing White off the bench, and I think White is a game-time decision tonight. I think he's got to play. He's questionable due to rest. I don't think Chicago's playing Saturday. Oh, they are. They're playing Washington. Okay. All right, if I'm the Bulls, though, okay, you don't need Kobe White to beat the Wizards. You need Kobe White to beat the Miami Heat. Okay, you can get by with Giddey and Vooch for the Wizards game because obviously they don't want to play White right now in back-to-backs. They need to play him today. Have to. Yeah, I'm going to go, again, in regards, if White doesn't play, we get a better number on the Bulls. And the Bulls did start the year, right, 6-1 and 5-0 without Kobe White. Obviously, you'd love to have Kobe White in this spot. But even if he doesn't play, I still feel good enough about the Bulls, considering, okay, Miami doesn't have most of their guys either. So give me Chicago at home. Bulls win against the Heat, -140, again, for Giddey, White, and the Bulls. On to our third best bet of the video, we move to another moneyline / spread, obviously a spread play here in Phoenix, Arizona, between the Suns and the Timberwolves. Give me Minnesota -3.5 on the road. Oh, by the way, I should mention, Bulls Heat, a cup game. So, by the way, Kobe White probably plays. Let me just change the graphic again. No, Kobe White probably plays because it's a cup game, because it means more. And the Bulls in the cup are 1-1. If they beat the Heat, they go to 2-1, and they put themselves very alive for a wild card spot in the NBA Cup. Okay, just need to put that out there. Okay. So the next NBA Cup game, Timberwolves Suns. Both these teams are in Group A. Minnesota's 2-0, Phoenix is 1-0, but Minnesota's in the same group as the Thunder. But the Thunder might not win their group because of point differential. No, they have to play Minnesota anyways. Who am I kidding? The Thunder are not losing a game. So Minnesota actually very alive right now for a wild card. I know, again, they haven't lost a game, but here's my thought process for this, okay? I don't know if the Timberwolves actually care about the NBA Cup because, again, you have to. I wonder this about all teams. Like, what team actually cares about winning this thing? Like, a couple of years ago when the Pacers, obviously before the Pacers blew up and whatnot, like, I was on the Pacers back then, don't get me wrong, but, when the Pacers, played the NBA Cup championship against the Lakers, it made sense the Pacers played so well. I mean, it was something that, those guys, it was a young team. It was like when Halliburton first started to take off, and it made sense. Okay, yeah, the Pacers are playing real well in this in-season tournament. They won a lot more than all these other teams. They won the $500K. Obviously, the Lakers ended up beating them in the Cup championship, but that made sense. Again, that was like a team that was fired up to win something like that. I don't know how fired up a Minnesota Timberwolves team is for this, in all fairness. I don't know, okay? Regardless of that, you look at point differential, and I don't know, again, if this team is really thinking about this or not, but I am. Minnesota's got a +54 point differential. OKC's got a +31, but the wild card tiebreaker is point differential. And it looks like Minnesota can probably go 4-1 in their own group because they're not going to lose. I don't think losing tonight. Obviously, they've already beat Sacramento. They've already beat Utah. They probably lose to Minnesota. But if they can blow out the Suns here, or at least put it on the Suns and win by double digits, they're going to beat everybody on the tiebreaker. They have the best point differential in all of the NBA Cup East and West. So as long as they blow out the Suns here, they basically ensure themselves a spot in the second round, albeit on the road, probably in Denver or Houston. We'll get to that in a second. I'll be the winner of that game. Or actually, well, everyone's alive. Everyone's 1-1 in that group. Regardless, they will find themselves on the road, likely. Oh, no, they would take on the 1 seed. Oh. Well, then they just have to go to OKC again. Whatever. But still, they'd be in the next round, right? Because they have the best point differential. My point with all of this being is they should blow out the Suns. And if they care about the tiebreaker, they'll put it on the Suns too. Now, I don't know if, tiebreaker or not, mindset or not really matters, because Minnesota should blow the Suns team out. They should. Phoenix is 9-6. I know they just came off win over Portland that we did not expect to happen. The Suns still are yet to play good teams. And when we've seen them play good teams this season, with the exception of that San Antonio Spurs game, they lose. Warriors, loss. Hawks, loss. Nuggets, loss. Exception, of course, is that victory over the San Antonio Spurs. But Phoenix has been beating up on a lot of bad teams. And we've been talking about this, like they're finally going to get their comeuppance a little bit because they're playing some good teams coming up, right? Minnesota tonight, San Antonio on Sunday with no Wemby, we'll see. Houston on Monday, second night of the back-to-back, yikes. In Sacramento, probably win. In OKC, L. Next night, Denver, L. Lakers on the road, L. In Houston, L. In Minnesota, L. Warriors, Lakers, L, L, L. And then close the year with Pelicans, Wizards. And then Cavs, L. Right? So Phoenix eventually is going to go through their streaks of losing. They're playing well right now. They're shooting very well. Is that going to translate against better teams? Probably not. Okay. And I think it hurts them, obviously. No one's really talking about this, but Jalen Green being out really hurts this team. And I get it. The public may not be too high on Jalen Green because, he's very off and on. Some nights, you saw in the playoffs, he would be putting out tour dates, obviously, in the playoffs with his single-digit playoff performances. I get it. In the limited action we've seen Jalen Green as a Phoenix Sun, he's actually been very good. So having him out there is absolutely massive for Phoenix, but obviously he's still out. The Timberwolves are playing good basketball. They're a 10-5 team currently. This is a squad that is coming off 2 straight victories over the Dallas Mavericks and the Washington Wizards. They've only lost to really good teams this season, and I mean it. Lakers, Nuggets, Knicks. 2 good teams in the Knicks. No, I'm joking, obviously. They've only lost to good teams. And obviously they dealt with the Anthony Edwards injury. Ant is back. I think no McDaniels tonight, right? Jaden McDaniels is questionable, so we shall see. And obviously Joe Ingles is questionable. He's questionable to play his garbage time minutes. No, regardless though, Minnesota should win the basketball game. I think this team is way better than what Phoenix has. And I'm under the belief too that Phoenix is going to get a lot worse as the year goes on. For now, it's great, obviously, and we can still rely on them to beat teams like the Clippers, like the Pels, the Mavs, the Pacers, obviously, because those teams aren't high level, and Phoenix is a great quality for a lower level team. That is, we score a lot. And, they're like the Jazz, and like what the Bulls have been over the last couple of years. Like, it's not a team that you really, it's not a team that you want to necessarily play. Like, you look at the record, it's horrible. But, again, if you're going to walk in to Utah, you're going to walk into Phoenix right now, you're going to have to score a bunch of points because all they do is shoot threes. And if they get hot on that particular night, it's dangerous. Hell, again, the Jazz, for example, look at the first game Braun played this year. I mean, I don't like playing the Jazz when I'm the Lakers. Like, I don't look forward to Jazz games. They're fun, but it's like, all right, well, we know we have to score 150 points to beat these guys. Obviously, more on the Jazz actually in a second. But anyways, taking the Wolves tonight. I think they are capable of putting a lot on Phoenix, and if the Suns just don't have one of those nights, Minnesota should win. By the way, Grayson Allen's still out for Phoenix. Yeah, give me the Wolves. On now to our 4th best bet of the video. We move to another money line, and let's go to Houston, Texas for the Houston Rockets and the Denver Nuggets. I'm going Houston Rockets money line minus 130. I haven't gotten the opportunity to talk much about Rockets basketball, but here I am. This is a good team. It's a really good team. I haven't really talked about them much recently, all that much. But they're playing really good basketball right now. Again, we talk about this elite tier currently in the Western Conference, and that obviously includes the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Spurs, and the Wolves. I guess you can kind of put the Warriors in there. We expect the Warriors to eventually figure things out, but who knows, right? One of those 7 teams, by the way, are going to have to play a play-in, which sucks, but whatever. Probably against a team that is way worse than them record-wise. Regardless of all that, though, this is a very good game. Denver 11-3, Houston 10-3, and obviously the big stakes that come with an NBA Cup game. Ooh, man, so pumped. I think the Rockets win. I think so. The Rockets have an all-around better team than the Denver Nuggets. And if this was a playoff series, I would be taking the Houston Rockets. There are a lot of teams actually in a playoff series I would take over Denver. I'm obviously taking OKC. I'm taking Houston. I'm taking Minnesota because they've done it before. And hesitantly, I am taking the Lakers. I know, the Nuggets, Nicole LA. What is it? Nico LA. There we go. I get it. I think this Lakers team beats them. Oh, DeAndre Ayton. Oh, Jokic is going to bitch Ayton. I don't care. Okay, I think the Lakers beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series. Just because the team's all Jokic. Jokic is great. And I get it in the offseason. Oh, I mean, okay, it's worked. They're 11-3. I just don't love the supporting pieces still. I think they honestly kind of miss Michael Porter Jr. a little bit. I know they're winning a lot, but I mean, Cameron Johnson's not doing anything. He starts every game and he barely scores. Tim Hardaway's been big off the bench. I think he's been probably the best offseason pickup. Bruce Brown hasn't done anything. You know, they brought Brown back, and I get it. He was instrumental, obviously, in their championship run, 3-4 years ago. He then went to Indiana and then got traded in the Siakam trade, and obviously just kind of got washed out everywhere. He's back in Denver, awesome. He's not really doing much. It's so dependent on Jokic, man. And I get it. Last time we picked against the Nuggets, it did not go well. We took Minnesota to beat them, and Jokic went out there and obviously put up, a near triple-double like he always does. Denver lost a game at home to the Bulls. Don't love that. A game, by the way, again, and I get it, it's one game, but Chicago is coming off the second night of the back-to-back. They played a double overtime game the night before, and they went out and beat the Nuggets, 130-127. Insane. They were in control of that game for quite a bit. Good on Giddey and the guys. I don't love Denver against teams who can score and score a lot. Houston can do that to you. Rockets also play way better defense than Denver does. But what the Rockets are doing so far this season has to be stated. I mean, it is phenomenal stuff. Guys, Durant and Şengün, man, they're combining for over 50 a night, or around 50 a night. Those guys are playing phenomenal basketball. Again, Amen Thompson's very elite, very solid player. You also put in, again, Jabari Smith. You get some of that bench help. Again, I think they're really good. I don't think they're better than OKC, obviously, and we've seen that. Obviously, it's still one game. But this tall-ass Rockets lineup is good. And they haven't even had Dorian Finney-Smith back yet. I don't know if DFS is going to do much. It's fine. We found a better version of DFS in LA. His name's Jake LaRavia. He's younger, too. Regardless of all that, though, I'm going to go with the Houston Rockets to win this basketball game. The Rockets are 10-3. Their only 3 losses this season are the 2 first games they played against OKC and Detroit. Oh, by the way, those 2 teams happen to be number 1 each in each conference. And then in San Antonio in a close game, again, a cup game, right? Denver's losses, Portland on the road, Chicago at home, and Golden State on the road. I think Houston gets them here. I think, again, 2 very evenly matched teams. If it was a playoff series, I'm serious. I'm taking the Rockets to win the playoff series. Ultimately, though, 1 spot, 1 game, NBA Cup game kind of matters, I guess. KD's got to match Braun in terms of legacy, so he's got to get this ring. This is NBA Cup championship, excuse me. No, I'm joking, but still, home game, I like the Rockets. They are evenly matched. I believe the Rockets are slightly better. On top of all of that, the Rockets are at home. So I'm taking the Rockets to win this game. They move now to 2-1 in their NBA Cup league, and I think this kind of eliminates the Nuggets. I think a couple things could go the Nuggets' way and they could still win it, but this would basically eliminate Denver from the NBA Cup. Not like it matters much, but I think we're kind of now building who are going to be the teams in each conference. I believe the West now is going to be probably 1 OKC, 2 Lakers, 3 Rockets, which means we get Lakers Rockets in the NBA Cup semifinals, and then Minnesota is the wild card. So those are your matchups. Probably, again, we still have a couple more weeks, but that's what I'm looking at for the West. East, I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces left of the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to touch that yet. But the West, again, hey, NBA wants ratings while they have their in-season tourney, and they're going to get Shea versus Ant and Durant versus LeBron and Luka. Yeah, it's everything they wanted out of this thing, So, whatever. We'll see, OKC's looking to get back last year for losing the NBA Cup Finals. Again, though, Darvin Ham and Taurean Prince don't lose NBA Cup games. So, I don't know if anybody can beat Milwaukee. If the Bucks were playing today, we would hammer their money line. But no, they suck because yesterday, obviously, the Sixers beat them. Haha, you suck, Miles Turner. His stupid deer celebration he does after he hits a 3. I mean, whatever, dude. Anyways, on to our final best bet. Let's go to the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm going Keontae George over points and assists. 25.5 is the exact number. Should be light. It really should be. Man, I mean, I know we did not hit on our player prop for that last Jazz game as they were on the road taking on the Lakers. Obviously, big time game. LeBron's first game in his 23rd NBA season. And Keontae George tried to bring the house down, man. I mean, Keontae George in that game against the Lakers, a guy who, by the way, is like a 27% three-point shooter, goes 5 for 13 from beyond the arc. He's just completely dominant early in that basketball game, scores 34 points, and also has 8 assists. Sure, again, we did not hit our player prop that game, which was Markkanen under. He scored 31, whatever. But it's fine. Tonight we're going to be going with Utah here, and we're going to be going with Keontae George. They are playing OKC, which I understand. The Thunder don't really give up points to anybody. That's okay. Utah scores on everybody too. Okay? Now, do I expect this game to be all that close? No. But oddly enough, if I were to pick a spread here, I'd take plus 16.5 on the Jazz. The Jazz just score, and they were really in that game the other day against the Lakers. Ultimately, what happened, they just fell apart in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers really took over. Really late third quarter and on to the fourth. Regardless of all that, though, I think Utah's kind of competitive here. I think the Thunder obviously win, and Shea probably still won't have to play the second half of the fourth quarter. But I think Keontae George is going to score quite a bit. I really think so. If we look at the stats Keontae George has been putting up, so far this season he's averaging 23 points per game and 7 assists per game. So obviously that right away results in 30 PA. But look what he's been doing recently, man. Last 2 games for Keontae George, and I get it, there's been an extended amount of run, obviously, in that game against the Bulls because it was double overtime. But Keontae George in that game, which, by the way, hits the game-winning 3, when a shot at a point in that game, too, where he did not need to shoot the 3, 33 points, and 6 assists. By the way, Bulls had a game-tying 3 in that one from Vucci Main. He missed, but then, hey, it worked the other night in Portland. Regardless of all that, though, that's the type of confidence booster you need. I'm watching that game, and I'm watching the Bulls broadcast, and right before the play, they're saying, okay, well, as long as the ball is not in Markkanen's hands, you got to force it out of Lauri Markkanen's hands and make someone else beat you, because obviously Markkanen is the best player on Utah. Well, the Bulls did that, and honestly, they played well enough defense. Patrick Williams didn't step up because whatever. But what does Patrick Williams really do? I don't know. Keontae George, though, nails a 3 in a very difficult shot and hits it. That's the type of confidence booster you need because, I mean, after he hits the shot, the Chicago announcers go, well, that's the guy you want to shoot. He was 2 for 9 this game. He's shooting 20% on the season from 3, and he hits one, dead eye for the game. He's still only a 29% three-point shooter this season. That's the type of confidence a guy needs. And I don't know if it was just, stepping up to the bright lights of playing at Crypto and playing the Lakers in the big-time spot that was playing in LeBron's first game this season. But Keontae George, man, really impressed me. He's been impressing me all year long, but recently, man, oh my goodness. That performance against the Lakers was absurd stuff. I mean, he's not willing to pull the trigger. He's more than willing, to pull the trigger. He is that primary ball handler, and sure, again, they try to get the ball to Markkanen, but Keontae George can 100% create for his own shot, too. So I got to go here with Keontae George over PA. Again, this is a guy who's going to average about, on average, 6, 7, or 8 assists per night, and let's say he just gets 7 assists. Okay, we need 19 points out of Keontae George. He averages 23. It just feels like a way too low line tonight, and I get why it is. You're playing OKC. The defense of OKC was by far head and shoulders above everybody else, the best defensive team in all of the NBA. But the Jazz got to score somewhere. Sure, maybe assist numbers are down, but the way Keontae George has been scoring 33 and 34 points, he's been automatic. My one concern, again, is blowout, because if it's a blowout, obviously Thunder sit their guys, Jazz sit their guys. But, I mean, Utah at some point has got to think, okay, we got to try to make a push for something. And realistically, right now, they're in the play-in. Maybe, again, I don't know what they want. Obviously, I think they want to try to win the lottery again, but they never will because you play in Utah, and the NBA doesn't really particularly like the Utah Jazz. But, I mean, if the Utah Jazz actually make a push to try to win something, or at least make the playoffs, they're almost there. Keontae George has been great. Lauri Markkanen, I get it. We say it all the time. It's like low-key empty stats every single season for Markkanen because he's not really winning, but the Jazz are playing decent basketball, man. I know, again, if they had Walker Kessler still, I know Kessler's out for the year, that sucks, but I mean, this is not a bad team. Again, Ace Bailey's not playing that poorly right now. Svi Mikhailuk is really playing well. In the most opportunities, in the most PTs ever gotten. I like Keontae George tonight. I do believe he goes over 25.5 points and assists. I understand how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are. I say it all the time. I think the Jazz cover. I think the Thunder win, but I think Keontae George is an absolutely big night for Utah. So it's going to be George on the over 25.5 points and assists. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA Best Bets here on Friday, November 21st for the NBA Cup. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did great thing in the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.